this out 1,000 ways. A careful step, a practiced phrase. You were a move I could control. I thought I could. This was supposed to stay light, stay sharp, stay clean. Not something we'd feel underneath. This wasn't part of the plan. We were just playing the parts we began. Setting the room on fire for show. Now we're the ones in the glow. This wasn't part of the deal. Something we said we would never feel. We lit the match just to watch it burn. Now there's nowhere to turn. You don't step back, you don't retreat. You hold your ground, you meet me deep. That's not how this is meant to go. You know that. You don't look away, don't play it safe. You stay too close, you hesitate. That's not the role you said you'd play, is it? We're off the script, we miss the cue. Say it or don't, but don't pretend you don't feel it too. This wasn't part of the plan. We were just moving our pieces by hand. Setting the room on fire for show. Now we're the ones letting go. This wasn't part of the deal. Nothing about this was meant to be real. We lit the match just to watch it burn. Now we're the ones that it turns. If I step forward, I can't go back. If I stay here, I lose the act. This wasn't supposed to mean anything. Then why does it? This wasn't part of the plan. We were just playing the roles we began. Setting the room on fire for sure. Now we don't know where to go. This wasn't part of the deal. Something we said we would never feel. We lit the match just to watch it burn. Now we're the ones that it burns. Just a spark, just a line, just a moment out of time.
Chapter 4. Not part of the plan. The balcony doors were not locked. They never were. Not truly. Gale slipped through them anyway, carefully, quietly, deliberately. The music dulled behind her as the doors closed, replaced by the hum of the city below. Voices, movement, something alive and unstructured. Running away already? She didn't jump. Hardly, Gale said, stepping out into the cool air. I'm choosing a different venue. Astarion leaned against the stone railing as though he had always been there, one shoulder pressed casually to the column, arms loosely crossed. Of course you are, he said. And here I was thinking I'd lost your attention. You did, she replied, momentarily. His mouth curved. How tragic. Gale moved past him, not stopping, not slowing. If you're going to follow me, she said, you'll have to keep up. Astarion pushed off the railing without hesitation. Oh, I do enjoy a challenge. You've said that already. Yes, he replied lightly. I find repetition reinforces the point. She didn't look at him. You assume there's a point to reinforce. I always assume there's a point, he said. Otherwise, what are we doing? Gale paused at the far edge of the balcony, where a narrow staircase wound downward along the outer wall of the tower. Leaving, she said. He glanced down the steps, then back at her. You do realize, he said, that this is where I'm supposed to warn you. About what? Bad decisions, he replied. Gale smiled. Then you're terribly late. And she stepped onto the stairs. Astarion followed. Of course he did. The city changed as they descended. Gold light and polished stone gave way to lantern glow and uneven streets. Music bled into laughter, into arguments, into something far less controlled. A night market. Alive. Unpredictable. Gale slowed as they reached the street, her gaze shifting over the stalls, the people, the movement. This, she said softly, is better. Astarion watched her instead of the crowd. Is it? She turned slightly. No one here cares who I'm supposed to be. And who, he asked, are you supposed to be? Gale huffed a quiet laugh. Something far more impressive than I am. Astarion tilted his head. I doubt that. She glanced at him. That's because you don't know my family. Try me. Gale hesitated. Only briefly. Gale Decarius, she said. Astarion stopped walking. You're related to Gale? Gale groaned. Oh, gods, don't tell me you know him too. Astarion let out a sharp, incredulous laugh. Know him? He said. That man made a spectacle of himself across half the realms before deciding he was above them entirely. Gale blinked. What? Oh, yes, Astarion continued, clearly enjoying himself now. Mistra's chosen, wasn't he? Very dramatic about it. And then, he gestured vaguely upward. God of ambition. Gale stared at him. He won't stop talking about it, she said. Astarion snorted. I'm not surprised. He writes letters. Of course he does. Long ones. That's worse. Gale laughed. Actually laughed. I thought it was just me, she said. Oh no, Astarion replied. He was insufferable before the ascension. I can't imagine it improved him. Gale pressed her lips together, trying and failing to suppress another smile. She shook her head. That's deeply reassuring. Astarion's brow lifted. Is it? Yes, she said. It means I'm not the only one who noticed. A beat. Failure, Gale, she added lightly. Astarion's expression shifted. Not pity. Not sympathy. Interest. I doubt that, he said. Gale shrugged. Family disagrees. They usually do, he replied. Silence settled between them. Not empty this time. Something else. Gale moved toward a nearby stall, running her fingers lightly over a row of glass trinkets, their surfaces catching the lantern light. Astarion watched her. You're very calm, he said. I usually am. That's not what I meant. Gale glanced at him. No, she said. It isn't. A pause. Astarion's gaze sharpened. You know what I am, he said. Not a question. Gale didn't look away. Yes. Another pause. And that doesn't concern you? She tilted her head slightly. I was more concerned when I didn't know. That was not the answer he expected. Astarion's expression tightened. That's a dangerous lack of self-preservation. Or a very accurate assessment of risk, Gale replied. You should be afraid, he said, quieter now. Gale stepped closer. Should I? Astarion held her gaze. Yes. She studied him. Longer than necessary. Then she smiled. I figured. Something in him snapped. Not loudly. not visibly. But it was there. You figured, he repeated. Yes. And you stayed anyway. Yes. A beat. That, Astarion said slowly, is a mistake. Possibly, Gale agreed. Silence. The noise of the market swelled around them, voices, movement, life continuing as though nothing had changed. But something had. Astarion exhaled sharply, running a hand back through his hair. This isn't how this is supposed to go, he muttered. Gale's brow lifted. No? No. How is it supposed to go? He looked at her. Really looked this time. You're supposed to be easier, he said. Gale laughed. I'm disappointed, she said. I thought you liked a challenge. I do, he replied. Not this kind. And what kind is this? Astarion didn't answer immediately. That's exactly the problem, he said finally. Gale's expression softened. Just slightly. And that was worse. Astarion stepped back, not retreating. Resetting. We should stop, he said. Gale didn't move. Yes, she said. Neither of them did. A beat. Then another. This wasn't part of the plan, he added. Gale's gaze held his. No, she said quietly. It was supposed to be simple. I know. Silence. Astarion looked away first. Dangerous, he said. Predictable, she replied. He almost smiled. Good night, Gale. Good night, Astarion. He turned. Walked. Didn't look back. Gale didn't follow. She stood there a moment longer, the noise of the market settling back into something distant. Then, slowly, she exhaled. Oh no, she murmured. Somewhere across the street. Astarion stopped, just for a moment. Oh no, he said under his breath. The balcony doors were not locked. They had not been locked for 3 nights. Gale stood just inside them now, arms folded loosely, gaze fixed on the space beyond, as though something might appear there if she simply waited long enough. It didn't. Of course it didn't. This is becoming embarrassing. Gale didn't turn. I don't recall asking for commentary. Her familiar shifted on the edge of the railing, tail flicking once. You left the door open again. It's warm. It's not. Gale exhaled softly. He's not coming, her familiar said. I know. A pause. You're still waiting. I'm not waiting, Gale replied too quickly. Another pause. You're worse at this than you think. Gale closed her eyes briefly. I'm not doing anything, she said. Nothing happened. It was... She made a vague gesture. A moment. And yet, her familiar said, you've spent 3 nights pretending you're not thinking about it. Gale turned then. I am not pretending. You went back to the market yesterday. That was unrelated. And the night before that? That was coincidence. And tonight? Gale hesitated. Also coincidence. Her familiar stared at her. That's a lot of coincidences. Gale looked away. I was curious, she said. That's not what this looks like. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It does to you. Gale's jaw tightened. No, she said, it doesn't. Silence. Then She turned, grabbed her cloak, and moved toward the door. Where are you going? Out. To the market? Gail paused. Yes, her familiar sighed. Of course you are. The rooftops were quiet. They weren't supposed to be. Try that again, Leon said. Astarion didn't move. I did it correctly. No, Leon replied, arms folded, watching him from the adjacent ledge. You did it efficiently. That's not the same thing. Astarion exhaled sharply. I am not in the mood for critique. That's obvious. Petrus dropped down beside them, grinning. He's sulking. I am not sulking. You're not feeding, Petrus added. That's new. Astarion's gaze snapped toward him. I feed when I choose to. Do you? Petrus said lightly. Because from where I'm standing, you've been choosing not to. Astarion looked away. Annoyed. Perhaps, Violet said from the shadow of a chimney. He's found something more interesting. Astarion didn't respond. That's exactly it, Petrus said, isn't it? Leon's expression darkened slightly. Leave it, he said. Petrus ignored him. You had her, he continued. Right there. Why didn't you take it? Astarion stilled. Take what? Petrus gestured vaguely. Blood. Attention. Whatever it is you were after. I wasn't after anything. Petrus laughed. Oh, come on. I'm serious. That's worse. A beat. You should have fed on her, Petrus said. Would have solved the problem. Silence. Astarion turned slowly. What did you say? Petrus shrugged. You heard me. I'm not going to... Why not? Petrus pressed. That's what we do. Astarion's expression shifted. Sharp. Not her. The words came out before he could stop them. Petrus blinked. Not her. Leon moved immediately. That's enough, he said. No, Petrus said, grinning now. I want to hear this. Why not her? Astarion stepped forward. The air changed. You don't get to ask that, he said quietly. Petrus didn't back down. Oh, I absolutely do, he replied. Because you've been useless for 3 nights and we all know why. Astarion's hands curled at his sides. You think this is about her? I think you're distracted, Petrus said. And I think it's ridiculous. Astarion laughed. Cold. You don't know what you're talking about. Then prove it, Petrus shot back. Go find her. Finish it. Astarion moved. Fast. Leon caught him before it escalated. Enough! Astarion didn't look at him. Let go. No. A beat. Then another. Astarion exhaled sharply, pulling back just enough. Petrus rolled his eyes. Unbelievable, he muttered. Go, Leon said without looking at him. Petrus hesitated. Then he went. Silence settled over the rooftop. Astarion didn't move. They won't let it go, Leon said. I'm not asking them to. That's not what I meant. Astarion's jaw tightened. Petrus's words lingered longer than they should have. You should have fed on her. It wasn't the suggestion. It was the ease of it. The assumption that she was just another distraction. Another mistake waiting to be made. Another thing they could take. Astarion exhaled sharply, dragging a hand back through his hair. They won't touch her, he said. Leon didn't answer. Astarion glanced at him. They won't, he repeated. They don't know her, Leon said quietly. That was the problem. Astarion looked out over the city again, toward the glow of the market below. She shouldn't be there, he muttered. Leon's brow lifted slightly. Then tell her that. Astarion didn't respond. Go warn her, Leon added, if that's what this is. A pause. Astarion's gaze didn't leave the lights below. I don't need an excuse, he said. Leon's voice was dry. No, he said. You just want one. Astarion's lips pressed into something that wasn't quite a smile. I'm not going back, he said. Leon didn't argue. Of course you're not. Astarion turned away. Not tonight, he said quietly. Silence settled over the rooftop. Astarion didn't move. You're avoiding her, Leon said. I'm not. You are, Astarion laughed softly. And if I am? Leon studied him. That's new? Astarion didn't respond. You don't walk away from things like that, Leon continued. No, Astarion said. I don't. Then why now? Astarion looked out over the city. Lights. Movement. Noise. The market. She's not supposed to matter, he said. Leon didn't answer immediately. They never are, he said finally. Astarion's jaw tightened. That's not the same. Leon's expression shifted. No, he agreed quietly. It's not. Silence. Astarion turned away. I'm not going back, he said. Leon didn't argue. Of course you're not. The market was exactly as she remembered. Alive. Full of noise and light and people who didn't care who she was supposed to be. Gale moved through it slowly, her gaze shifting over faces, over stalls, over shadows. Nothing. Of course. He's not here, her familiar said. I can see that. You knew he wouldn't be. I didn't know anything. Her familiar made a small, unimpressed sound. Gale stopped near the edge of the street, folding her arms. This was a mistake, she said. Yes. I'm leaving. You won't. Gale didn't move. Across the street, someone laughed. Not him. She exhaled slowly. This wasn't part of the plan. Her familiar tilted its head. You didn't have a plan. That's not true. What was it? Gale hesitated. To not care. A pause. How's that going? Gale didn't answer. Because she could feel it. Not him. The absence of him. And that was worse. Across the rooftops, Astarion stopped. Just for a moment. The market below flickered with light. He could go. He knew exactly where she would be. He knew exactly how it would go. And that was the problem. Astarion turned away. Not tonight, he said quietly.